The artist way is overrated. Hello, welcome back to another video. I know it's been a while. I was just spending a lot of time figuring out where I want to take this channel, what I want to do, and I still haven't figured it out. I really just want to be like a friend on YouTube and just talk about things. My hair is a mess, and I just came from the gym, so I thought, casual little talk, let's talk about the artist way because it's trending. It's all over YouTube, it's all over TikTok. Or is that just my algorithm? Anyways, let's get into it. The Artist Way, the Grammys, Doechii, all of these things have been all over the internet for me recently. I don't know about y'all, but they've been all over the place. Like, I cannot escape the Artist Way, and now everyone wants to do it. Artist, not artist, religious, not religious. Everyone in my vicinity of the internet wants to do this. As someone that likes to look into things that are trending, I took it upon myself to go to my local Barnes and Nobles and see if I could see what, like, hold the book in person and see what this is all really about. Maybe I'd get some kind of vibe from holding the physical copy. To my surprise, Barnes and Nobles is gone. My childhood Barnes and Nobles. No, my Shayla. What did they do to my Barnes and Nobles? Oh my gosh. Well, no book then. There's nothing in there. Mommy, can we go to Barnes and Nobles? Baby, there is no Barnes and Nobles. So, I did the second best thing to get a vibe from anything, and as a former college student, I looked up The Artist Way free PDF. And to my surprise, I got The Artist Way free PDF. Wow. Did I read it? No. Am I going to read it? No. And let's talk about why. So, a lot of people on TikTok have been claiming that this book is going to turn your life upside down, inside out, rock your shiz. Like, a lot of people have been saying a lot of things on the internet, but you know what? A lot of people say a lot of things on TikTok. If you take everything that you see on the internet as fact and personal, you've got some stuff to work on. But if you don't, then you would know that you find something that's trending and you do a little bit of research into it. You don't just take people's words for fact, right? So I did a little bit of research, and the very first thing that comes up when you Google this thing is like a Reddit thread. And this Reddit thread basically has a lot of angry people on it talking about the religious aspect of this book. I personally don't really have an issue with the religious aspect of the book. I think that in order to grow in mindset, there has to be a foundation that someone needs to fall back on. For a lot of people, it's religion. For other people, it's literature. For some people, it's psychology, quantum physics, like whatever the avenue that you want to take is up to you. But I recognize that religion is one of those avenues, and I have become even more open minded throughout the years that religion is here to teach us stuff and to put safeguards in place for ethics and morals. I take it to it like that. I understand the writings in the Bible for what they are, and I rock with it. Whether I'm religious or not, who knows? But I'm rocking with what it says in the Bible. I even have some passages in the Bible that are my favorite. So we'll just leave it at there. My understanding of the artist way is that it's supposed to open some sort of portal to creativity in your mind through 12 weeks of exercises. And the thing that you are probably seeing all over the internet is something called the morning pages, where basically you have to fill up 3 full pages of unconstrained ramble, whatever is going on in your mind, fill up 3 pages every single morning. And the purpose of this is you're supposed to use your unguarded, unfiltered thoughts as a guard to tell you where you're struggling, where you're having shortcomings in your daily life, and use that to figure out what you need to work on next. I think this is a great idea in hindsight. I think the premise behind this practice is actually really interesting and really cool. And for my friends that I like to have like unofficial therapy sessions with, I always do recommend that they do something like this for minimum 3 days to kind of understand themselves and understand their blockages and what's going on in their brains. So I really rock with that. The only issue that I have with these morning pages is that a lot of people are kind of looking to this book as an eye opening, mindset, mind view opening Bible instead of doing it themselves. And I have a big issue with this because I don't want to look to something very particular or specific in order to upgrade my thinking, my creativity, my whatever. I honestly don't have that big of an issue with a lot of the exercises in this book. I just wish people would look to the exercises for what they are instead of, I'm doing this because this woman told me in this book, and this is what Doechii used, and now she's a Grammy Award winning artist. Do you catch my drift? See, the reason, like, I've already kind of said this, but this book doesn't really teach me anything new. Like, some other exercises that are in this book is like time blocking, like making sure that you have time for your art platform of choice. But, like, isn't that kind of obvious? Like, if you want to learn something, like, I don't know if y'all were grown up with the idea of the 10,000 hours theory or whatever it's called, where you like need to put a minimum of at least 10,000 hours in order to become good at this thing. Like, this is nothing new. This should be nothing new to you. And if it is, then again, I think you've got stuff to sort out. But like, there's quite frankly like not enough in this book for me for it to be like eye opening and something that I would consider giving 12 weeks of my life to. I saw someone on TikTok say this, but 12 weeks is 3 months. Like, keep that in mind. That's a fourth of a year. Like, I already have a lot of these practices set in place in my life, so I don't really feel the need to like follow someone very particular's like words. I'm really glad that it's worked for Doechii. I love the series that she's done on her YouTube channel. I love that there are other famous people who have used this. I love that people become great at art platforms. They open up creative channels, creative passageways for them that they didn't have open before. I love that for them. For me, I don't think I need this book. I don't think it's going to provide me with much more than what I'm capable of without it. Another thing that's a big theme in this book is affirmations. And my relationship with affirmations is a little bit silly. The reason I say that is because I was an affirmations skeptic for so long. My background, I love neuroscience. I came out of the womb talking about like quantum physics. So like me and neuroscience were like that. But affirmations just felt silly to me. I think it's because of the way that it was sort of presented to me. Like, a lot of people in my life would look in the mirror and say stuff like, "You're so attractive. Everyone loves you. You're like, you walk in the room and you have the biggest aura." Like, what are you doing? Like, be so for real right now. And so I think that's the reason why I had a hard time understanding affirmations or even thinking that they did anything. And then I did a lot of research. My research was in multiple areas and it led me down multiple rabbit holes, and every single one led me to the same place. And believe it or not, affirmations were in there, and it also led me to the same place. And I found out the science behind affirmations, and I even started teaching my friends and talking to my friends about the baselines, the topics of affirmations and stuff like that. And TLDR, affirmations do work. There's sort of a specific way that you've got to do it. Technically, there's no wrong way to do it, but like, like technicalities wise, like you've got to do it the way that like works for you. Again, like if I were me from 8 months ago and like you told me to look in the mirror and say, like, "You're so pretty, you're so pretty, you're so pretty," like, that's not gonna work. You know what I mean? So like there is a right way for you, but there's no right way in general. Now that you understand, affirmations is something that they talk about a lot in this book. And like I said, there is a correct way to do it and they do work. But been playing around and testing out affirmations anyways. So it's like the time blocking, I'm already doing the affirmations, I'm already doing the morning pages. I don't necessarily write them out. I'm not the biggest fan of journaling, but I do take the time to listen to my thoughts and work on my issues that are quote unquote keeping me up at night. Or I go on like walks with no music, and that's kind of the time where I can untangle and process a lot of things. Like, I give myself a lot of time to listen to my thoughts and process. So, the 3 pages in the morning thing, adding that to my daily life already seems excessive. So, those 3 are a no for me just because I'm already doing them. Something I think is really interesting that the artist way does, and I haven't seen anyone really talking about this, but it reminds me of shadow work. Like, if you're familiar with energy and trauma, healing, therapy, spirituality, even religion. There's a lot of different concepts, and a lot of this stuff kind of like fit in together, right? A lot of this book reminds me of what I picture shadow work to be, and I've never done shadow work. I've never done the research on shadow work. I've only kind of seen the surface level of like what's been presented to me through social media algorithms, so I can't say too much on this topic. But my understanding of shadow work is that you need to find out things that are like deeply rooted in your belief systems and like things that are bothering you, and you need to do certain practices and stuff to start understanding it, processing it, and then being able to move forward. And that's a lot of what I think of when I see a lot of stuff that is in the artist way. And I'm not actually the biggest fan of shadow work, obviously, because I haven't done it, haven't done the research. Like, I'm not like in that, just not something that's like come into my life at all yet. I don't know if it will. I doubt it, but open minded. So, here's something that I believe. Here's like a core belief of mine is that you can get to anywhere from anywhere. No matter what you've experienced before, no matter what you previously believed, no matter what self sabotaging you've done, you can still get to the same places as other people or even higher than them, no matter what. No matter what your experience, what your past is, no matter what anyone has said, no matter what you have said, no matter what, you can get literally anywhere. That is something that I have almost always believed, and I believe this to be true for every single person who's ever walked this planet. What shadow work really signals to me is that I have more fixing that needs to be done. And because I believe that you can get anywhere from anywhere, I do believe that there is a little bit of fixing per se that you may need to do. And when I say fixing that you need to do, in my definition, I think the fixing is you need to basically figure out what your limiting beliefs are, where they come from, and then go to those places and be like, no, I don't have a limiting belief, and then keep doing that until your limiting belief is gone. Pretty much. That's how I see things. And when you are constantly working on yourself, your self concept, doing shadow work and stuff like that, you're kind of in this cycle or rut of like, I need to fix things. Like, there's something wrong with me. Like, this isn't happening for me. So there's something else that's wrong with me. I have another thing to fix. And you get like stuck fixing yourself. I think, like I said, like maybe there is a certain amount or level of fixing that needs to be done, but fixing and fixing and fixing and fixing and fixing and fixing forever is not going to change anything because you're stuck spending your energy on fixing and you're not putting any energy into just doing. And I'm a big believer that you need to just do things, just like get up and start doing things. And you don't have to be perfect, just do it, because if you are going to spend all your energy on fixing, then like when are you going to be ever ready? Like, who gets to say when you're ready? And you're never going to think you're ready. Like, I see it in so many people in my life. They never think they're ready for anything, and it's like, just get up, just girly stand up and get it done. Like, just start. That's why I'm not really a big fan of like shadow work fixing or whatever, because those people seem to be like content and fixing forever, and they're like, I'll just get to it, and it's like, when? Just stand up and get to it. Let's get into it. I think it's really important to get to know yourself, get to know your limiting beliefs, and it's really eye-opening to learn about a limiting belief about yourself and work on changing that. Like, I think that that's such a great practice, and I think that you need to do this infrequently. I think you need to do this as things come up. When you realize, for example, like, oh, I can't apply to this job because I don't have the experience. Well, like, who's to say? Like, you're not the hiring manager. You're not the one hiring yourself. So, why are you placing restrictions on yourself? You could get the job. At this point in time, you're the only person that's stopping you from getting this job. And I think that that is a limiting belief that I would identify during this process. And I would be like, you know what? Like, you're right. Like, I'm the one that's in my own way. Like, I need to get out of my own way. I need to just submit my application and see what happens. This is a good example of like when I think working on yourself is viable. But spending 12 weeks working on yourself, again, to me, it kind of just signals I'm gonna fix and fix and fix and fix. One thing you need to understand about the brain is that it's not here to make you happy. It's not here to make you successful. It is so shocking to me that people do not understand that the purpose of their brains is to keep them in homeostasis. But you get to choose what homeostasis is based on who you're being most of the time. A lot of people are stressed most of the time, or anxious most of the time, fearful most of the time, doing most of the time, fixing most of the time. That is homeostasis for your brain. Your brain just wants to be stable. Whatever you are being is the definition of stable to your brain, and your brain wants to stay that way. And what that means on a deeper level is you're creating synaptic connections, and your brain is looking to strengthen those synaptic connections by pattern recognition, and that pattern recognition is created by the more that you recognize the pattern, the more that you recognize the pattern, that's repeating behaviors, the more that's going to be like the first thing that your brain wants to find, to do, to think, whatever, right? So when you are changing that or breaking that, your brain is still going to go back to old ways. That's just the way that your brain is set up. That's the way your brain is wired. That is how the brain works. Get that in your head. When you're so strongly fixated on fixing yourself, you are always going to want to fix yourself. Your brain is always going to tell you to keep doing that. So anyways, that is my review of The Artist's Way. At this current moment, I haven't personally done it. I am thinking of doing a skimming, of doing a summary, of doing something, and potentially making a follow-up video to this one where I have actually looked at the material, and maybe that'll change my mind on things. Maybe I will end up doing it. But at this current moment, it's not looking good for Miss Julia. I think that's her name. If not, I'll edit myself saying the correct name. If you find happiness in doing The Artist's Way, if you think that it is going to get you out of it, can I speak correctly? If you think it's going to get you out of a corrective? Come on, English. If you think it's gonna get you out of a creative rut, by all means, it's your life, bestie. I'm not you and you're not me, and we don't have to live the same way. But for me personally, that's what this video is about. It's about why I will not be doing The Artist's Way and my thoughts on The Artist's Way. So get off my video if you don't, if you really hate what I have to say. Anyways, thank you for watching today's video, and if there is anything else you would like me to talk about or review, let me know in the comments. If not, please, please, please consider subscribing if you liked my thoughts on The Artist's Way and anything else that I've made videos on. And with that, I will bid you all farewell, and I'll see you all in the next video.